welcome to the Team Broth channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out Replay, our sponsor, in the description down below. To begin with, obviously, I forgot to do this on the last one, so make sure I do it on this one. Introduce yourself, how did you do, and what place did you make?
Greetings, my name is Marios Tsormpatsidis. I went top 16 at Greek Nationals with Despia Branded.
Nice, happy days.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, obviously it's kind of crazy, Branded being around now, like a year or so on from where it was kind of still partially relevant. Like we were just speaking, like there's only one brand of Fusion. You've got Fuveloses and Perulias in the set now. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, like why did you choose Branded, and kind of kick us off with all your kind of like whatever you want to talk about deck-wise?
When it comes to the deck, I have been playing Branded for the better part of the previous 2.5 years. The truth is that I had dropped it for Pure Rising for a bit, but then the ban list came and I decided to come back.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is my comfort pick. It is the deck that I know how to play nearly perfectly. So I thought that in general in a big tournament, instead of trying to catch up with meta deck in a couple of weeks and do however I can, while also having a target in my back, just like we saw with Malice, which is nowhere to be found here.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Like not a single Greek top 16 Malice player was there. Was there any Malice at the event itself?
Yeah, of course there were Malice in the event, but they were kind of unfortunate because like the 18th and the 19th place of the last of the X2s basically were a couple of good Malice players who didn't quite make it to the top 16.
Okay.
In general, we were joking, the guys that were in top 16 were joking that like 6 cards of our side deck are now useless.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and then... Yeah, sorry, yes, you kick it off. Sorry, there's a wee bit of a backlog, so you kick it off, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so yeah, when I picked it up, I had to readjust in general because the deck is very different with one brand Fusion. You have to maximize your high spirits, you have to maximize the starters that are not branded Fusion, because now that Impulse as well is a card. We need to adjust because you know that your brand Fusion is not always going to go off, if ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So the direction that I had tried to take with this list was an Albaz control deck, because Albaz on the opponent's turn is still a very good card.
Yeah. I saw in the profile you were talking about Albaz control. I was funny enough, one of the things I wrote down was like, talk us through what you mean by Albaz control.
In general, when you're trying to set up your plays, no matter if brand fusion goes off, if you single-handedly have like Cartesia that can fuse into Guignol, you can actually set up summoning the Albaz whenever you want, usually with Rinbram, other times with Quen. Those are the ways that we set it up, and we can protect it as well from bestials or bells and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when I would be going first, what I would be trying to set up is Mirror Jade Quem with either a Guignol or a Libellion on the field, with a Lost and a Set Banishment plus some other cards that I would happen to draw. I mean, the non-searchable ones. So yeah, setting up with the Shrouded, setting up Albaz in the graveyard for you to be able to revive whenever is actually pretty easy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty solid. Yeah, because I imagine, like, how did that feel in, like, the current format? Like, the big one we've talked about there is, like, did you play many Malice, and, like, how did you fare into them, trying to set up, like, obviously doing the Albaz stuff with, like, your graveyard being kind of so pivotal?
Yeah, I did play versus a couple. One was versus the player who was 18th, who is a very good player. He's a previous national champion.
Cool.
He went full combo on me turn 1, but I was kind of lucky because my hand was kind of custom. I had double super poly, so I super polyed my Quem, his Firewall, and his White Binder to make Proscenium when I summoned the Quem and got Imperned.
Brilliant.
Proscenium can actually push the White Binder for the foil because you can target it to take it to your side of the field, so they have to change the GWC. And then the second Super Poly was for Garura. Then I used, if I remember correctly, tactics to take the ass from his hand because he had drawn with
Oh,
Tessie. And then I used brand, I had the fusion access, so that was kind of crazy, not gonna
yeah,
lie. So yeah, you are the worst matchup of the deck is Malice in general. So it did benefit by the fact that the good players in Greece did drop it.
yeah, that's fair.
So yeah.
That's pretty solid. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, that really does sound like just a classic God tier hand, really, doesn't it? And then yeah, another question obviously we've had is why 52? Why not playing 60 as we said, playing grass? And then like what was like kind of the maths on it? What was your decision path?
So I had played in the Greek Open that had happened, I think it was 3.5 weeks ago, 4 weeks or something.
Okay.
I did mediocre there. I didn't do terribly, but I didn't do as well as I would have liked. The reasoning was that I was seeing basically, I was playing fewer cards, and by playing fewer cards in a deck such as Branded, you have many cards that you do not waste to draw, like
Yeah.
Mercurier or Tragedy or two thrusts or two droplets without a starter. The traps by themselves don't do much. There are cards that you do not want to draw,
Yeah.
which is also a reason why I think Branded is not a deck that you can actually win a tournament with. You need to be extremely lucky in order to win a tournament.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you can top with it if you can actually manage your resources and your interactions well. The reason why I didn't go for 60 was because even though I did not want to see the bricks, I did want to see like the starters that are like kind of limited as well.
Yeah.
And by playing 60, I'm not exactly doing myself a favor, so I thought I would cut it in the middle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. So you kind of like you wanted to increase the deck count to help not draw the bricks, but you also wanted to keep it down to draw the stuff that you kind of like, basically.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
That's fair. Like it is very interesting. And then that was one point we were also talking about because we kind of do a thing where we basically take one of the like we took your deck list and we popped it in our group chat and then we kind of like we do like a roast your deck basically where you're like why are these choices, why those, and we kind of point it out. And that's where I kind of get my questions from. But it was kind of like why the two ofs, because you've got what is it? You've got like two of droplet there, two of thrust. Did you not want to go maybe like more on those? What was the thought process in that?
The problem was that, along with the other branded guy who topped the tournament, we were discussing after the open and we were seeing that the multiple thrusts and the multiple droplets are not very good when you're seeing more than one. So it's kind of the meme that we have in the community, which is like you want to see it sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah.
So I can't do without them because branded can't push through without them because if I don't see them. There are other power cards like, I don't know, Super Poly, some Bestials and all that that you can actually see. But when I was seeing multiples of the same card that wasn't actually either a starter or an interruption or a board breaker, I couldn't do anything. Like at the Greek Open, I had bricked multiple times like that. So I tried for a cup for about a month to do two offs, and it did work out pretty well. So I'm fine with it,
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean,
I know it's
you got top 16,
sorry.
so you did really well. I mean, getting top 16 with Branded, I think that's crazy. With such a beloved deck as well. I've heard a lot of people talk about yourself and the other person that topped. I think there's quite a lot of hype around this. You might find, because of you two, there might be an uptick in Branded players now, which will be really funny. It's nice to always see like a beloved deck come back quite a lot. And then, yeah, you've kind of said a wee bit about Super Poly and stuff. It's interesting now looking at it. It's kind of, you've gone very heavy, to me personally, it seems very heavy engine. Obviously, you've got Fuvlos and Prulia, but looking at the deck, there isn't actually many like board breakers, and you can call them like hand traps. So I guess you're trying to get half boards out of people and increase hand size. But I imagine like you're going into boards playing very engine heavy. How does that feel?
It is not the easiest thing to do. I know that like brand fusion has been memed to death by the community, and
Yeah.
justifiably so. The thing is that branded is not a deck that can FTK, or it won't always draw the right things that it needs. Like it's not just a single Habakiri which ends up doing a line through like zero hand traps
Yeah.
standard. So you do need to manage your hands very, very accordingly to what you have drawn in general. So yeah, the reason that I'm playing a lot of engine, I think I'm playing the minimum amount I can, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe the only thing I could cut, but after the tournament, I don't think I would, is branded regained. The rest is very, very standard.
Yeah, that was one thing
Uh,
you said that Branded Regained you hadn't seen much of that in previous lists, I think you said to me. Is there any reason why you played it in yours?
I was honestly fearing the Malice matchup because the triple TD Crow is kinda crazy against branded.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the rise of the Mitsurugi variants, our top players had started to drop Malice because they were seeing that like there will be hands where you get Lanciad or Meows and all that, and you just have to pass basically, which
Yeah.
obviously is not ideal. So they were trying to go for a more versatile variant, which indirectly benefited me. Like this is a development that actually helps branded compete.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. I'm seeing a lot of that over here as well, and you're seeing that kind of pattern across nationals. A lot of people dropping off of Malice just because there's so much sided hate. Yeah, and I guess that really does provide like a solid playing ground for decks such as this to come back and make a bit of a revival. Speaking on like Fiendsmith, Ryziel, Mitsu, those kind of matches, how do you tend to fare into them? Like, what's your kind of like play style? Because obviously you have to play a little bit differently into them than Malice because you don't have to worry about the graveyard too much. So like, what kind of changes there?
In general, your board breakers are very effective, so I didn't have much trouble going against them. Obviously, there will be hands that Brand can break. For instance, my one loss to in Swiss was to Pure Mitsu when I had drawn like 5 normal summons, and there is
Oof.
nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, this is the risk that they're going to be taking with Brand, which is the reason why I don't think it's a pick to like win an event. But if you're a good player, you can top with it.
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I was basically having to manage my non-engine along with my engine to predict basically what they're going to hit you with, like what hurts them. That has to do with reading how much your opponent has hand traps. What are those hand traps? Are they playing the low impact hand traps like Veiler and Imperm, which have kind of dropped off?
Yeah, that's kind of very true. I've noticed a lot of that. Like, what would your usual M boards be? Say, like, if you got Fuvelost or Perulia, like, would you play into it, or like, what would your M boards be? Would they be half boards?
I don't think I would play into it. Like I did play into it once because I had already established the Cartesia when my opponent Fuga lost me. So I just went fusion and I sent Guignol from the field to make a Mirror Jade. Because you can actually send stuff from the field as well with Brand Fusion. It's just not very ideal.
Yes.
You do not go for the full combo, I think, because there are also bells and crows and all that that can actually stop you quite a lot.
Yeah.
You have to be able to maximize the interaction that you have, which honestly depends a lot on whether you have Cartesia access, which is why I am maximizing on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have to actually, when it comes to each matchup, you have to decide how far you want to take it. Like for instance, if I'm playing versus a deck like Centurion, which cannot push through my board in any way, I will just go full combo and I won't care about anything. Like even if I get Nibiru, it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When it comes to other stuff like Pure Mitsurugi or Ryzen Mitsurugi that they can draw into engine that can kill me, like Exciton is a problem, for instance, against this deck. You usually do not go for the full line because it does give them around 4 cards.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
yeah, the standard endboard, by the way, is Quem. Usually a Guignol, depending, of course, if you have Cartesia access,
Yep.
and Mirror Jade. And you're always trying to set up Light and Darkness in order for you to be able to fight through your opponent's board breakers.
Yeah, I absolutely love that card, the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. Ever since that's come out, it's such an interesting card. I had a friend who he loves Branded and he plays a lot of Branded. And I remember playing against that card, and it's just sucks. It just sucks. That's all I can say really. But and then yeah, another one is the glaringly obvious one. There's no Sanctifier, no lock. What's that about?
Well, I'm not a fan of the lock in general. I'm not. I wasn't playing Puppet last year either. I
Yep.
did go top 16 as well. In general, the thing is that with Ito, you have another card that you do not want to see, along with those that the deck already has. So going for lines like that would also have to impact my extra deck, which is extremely tight when it comes to branded.
Yeah, looks
And
like
as
it.
well, you do have to beat some die rolls, which in the 10 rounds that I played, 9 in Swiss and 1 in Top Cut, I did go 2-8. So yeah, that wouldn't be very ideal. The deck
Yeah.
is very good at breaking boards, and it is very good at establishing how do I say this? When you're establishing light and darkness, it is not far off from Ido, because it's usually a very, very strong card that your opponent does not have an out to,
Yeah.
often at least. Because Ogre is not seeing play, Droplet is not seeing much play, so you can actually establish it. Your opponent will either go to Typhon or try to push through with Engine, but you definitely should be able to deal with the rest of your cards.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, it's such a bastard card. And like you said, droplets isn't about too much. I don't think I've actually seen anybody play Ogre in a while now. So yeah, it makes sense. I know that was very interesting. Missing Gimmick Puppet and well, not even playing Gimmick Puppet last year is very respectable. The fact that you're trying to grind through games and actually like layered interaction and winning that way rather than just kind of throwing it all into a lock and just it's like winning without skill in a way, if you know what I mean. So it's nice to actually see you like taking the skill approach and you're trying to measure your hands, how you play into things, your actions and stuff like that. It speaks a lot for like playing the game rather than just trying to lazily lock someone, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I wouldn't blame someone if they were trying to lock someone in order to win, because in this kind of tournaments, like winning is more important than actually proving you're a good player or an interactive kind of player. In general, the thing is that I do have faith in Branded when it comes to its reactionary playstyle. So I decided to actually go through with what I know how to do best, honestly. So yeah, the
Yeah.
thing is that the other stuff are weak to things that are apparent in the format, because everyone is playing us. Since there is Fuga, almost everyone is playing Impulse, which like if I get Impulse and I have a Nido in my hand, like what am I gonna do?
Yeah, that's fair. Did you get impulse much on the day?
Not very much. I got asked a lot. I didn't get impulsed very much. It was only once, to be honest.
That's not too bad.
I had to deal with I think 6 or 7 Ash Blossoms. I don't remember exactly.
That's the story of
But
story of Branded, isn't it?
yeah, you do have to deal with us. But like the approach right now is that basically we're trying to play through it. It's okay if you get asked, just continue playing.
Yeah, that's fair. It almost feels like you sometimes like when I was speaking to my friend, it's like sometimes you want to get Ash Blossoms on the Branded Fusion because it's like so obvious, but you've actually got another play which is so much cleaner. You're trying to like bait people into different avenues for like a stronger play that you're actually trying to commit to.
It's not ideal. I never want to get asked on my Brand Fusion, don't get me wrong. But knowing how to play through it and not like being the end of your day, basically,
Yes.
is also very, very important. Like
Yeah.
even if your hand gets stopped by Brand Fusion, you need to manage your non-engine in order for you to be able to have a chance next turn.
Yeah, that's fair. And then kind of looking at some of your tech choices, I think Super Volley you've talked about so far. How like it seems from what you've talked about, it seemed very cracked. How did that do for you on the day?
It was amazing. It FTKs Blue Eyes basically with the Chaos Star Source, because it has a different text than the OCG. Here, even if you use your opponent's method, you do get to pop cards. So yeah, basically Super Poly, every hand that I was seeing Super Poly in was very, very good.
Yeah.
There is, if I may talk about a couple of things that I would change on my list.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it is connected to Super Poly. The first thing is that the two bestials, the Magnamot and the Druiswurm, I would turn it into a couple of Sauroneers, because it's better with Brand High Spirits.
Yeah.
I had underestimated how good, how much Mitsurugi I was going to see. Which was not a misjudgment on my part. The misjudgment was that my cards, my power cards, and my engine can handle the matchup, but I need to see them. The problem with Brand is getting your play started sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it is not the most consistent deck. Like everyone who says Otherwise, it's kind of lying, honestly. So you do need to see the Sarnier not for you to be able to, or the Sarnier or the Albion or the Quems, they can't have the same effect. That can get you to the Retribution with Branded Fusion and all these kind of plays. I have kind of overestimated how much the second Bestial after that Magnamod would get you would be impactful. So I wouldn't do that. And also when it comes to the extra deck, because we're talking about Super Poly, Pure Mitsurugi turned out to be a lot more represented, which is the guy who won the event as well. So the thing that I would change was I would not be running Arbalenathus, and I would be exchanging it with a Starving Venom, because you can use that on Futsu, however that ritual is called,
Yeah.
and the IP.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, because that's a very common end board now. That was, funny enough, one of the things I was going to ask about is like kind of what were your super poly lines, because like you've got no Mud Dragon. I can see you've got Garura, and then you've spoken a wee bit about the, I can't remember how to say this card's name, Priskinian, is it? Yeah, Priskinian.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what were the main things you would end up super polying, and what would you like mainly be making?
The things that would be super polying the most was obviously Chaos Stars against Blue Eyes, against Malice or Raziel, I would be making Proskinion. If you summon a Despia, you can push through the ritual that Mitsurugi has and Detonator on demand. And Proskinion can also target the opponent's Detonator if they have like Evil Twins or you want to pop a card of theirs. So you can basically, with a Super Poly, you can totally break their board and then playing the hand trap war that Branded is doomed into playing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's really cool. It's nice to see that it's like kind of come back in again. And then, yes, you were talking about matchups and stuff, and you said you had a lot of Mitsurugi. What were, because you said, what, was 10 games you played? What were your, what were the decks you played up against?
I played versus two Pure Mitsurugi, one Raziel Mitsurugi, sorry, two Raziel Mitsurugi as well, two Malice, two Blue Eyes and two White Forest, if I remember correctly.
Quite a spread.
I did play versus like good decks. None of them was like the Dark Magician guy in your nationals or something. Yeah, so in top 16, we had a very interesting matchup. Who was the other Branded guy?
Oh my god.
Who had topped the event?
That's so funny.
Yeah. Branded Mirror Talker in 2025 was not on my bingo card.
Who would have thought that? It's crazy. How did that go?
Yeah. So we ended up exchanging game 1, game 2. I won game 1 because he didn't have fusion access. He won game 2 because I had like 3 Branding High Spirits.
Oof.
And we went to game 3 where I was faced with a dilemma. I do know the guy. I knew that he was playing Proskinion. And the problem with our standard end board is that if you're trying to set up the Light and Darkness, along with the Quem and the Jade, your board gets outed by Super Poly into Proskinion without them even having to commit a card. They can use 3 of your monsters. So I decided to play around that because I had Retribution drawn for his Branded Fusion or whatever extender he would have. And the problem was that he was playing one Light Storm and I couldn't play around that. So basically I lost that. And we were, yeah. We were close to time and I could not like get enough, I could not like get the comeback to happen soon enough, basically.
That's wild, because where did he place? He came top 4, didn't he?
Yeah, he got top 4. He's a guy I know. He's also a very good brand pilot.
Yeah.
And we ended up in similar lists.
That's very funny. Like, do you know what the much differences there were?
He was playing, I think, versus a bit more of Mitsurugi, the same Malice, and a bit less of Blue Eyes. There wasn't much matchup. There wasn't much matchup variance because our nationals tend to be very, very competitive. Like even though it is 260 players, like in our top 16, I think there were like 60 or 70 tops in premier events.
Oh wow! That's quite good.
The conversion rate, the conversion rate of Greek players that are playing with those that are topping is actually insane.
Yeah. See, our like so in Irish Nats, it's quite different. we don't have many big regionals. I think the biggest we'll get for a regional is 20, but our nationals have been growing the last couple of years. I think our biggest one we got was 250, but I don't think we've got that much representation in comparison to like YCS tops and stuff like that. And there might be quite a lot of people who've done well at nationals, but our scene is not as competitive as that. That's quite a crazy scene, yeah. And that kind of makes it all the more impressive that you've gone in such a competitive scene with such a deck that everybody's kind of thought was gone from the meta, I suppose. So I think that's quite crazy.
Yeah, that is partially the reason why no one like actually counts
Yeah.
branded when deck building. That is totally reasonable.
Yeah, that's fair. I still can't believe you didn't play any rogue. It might just be like obviously you said the player quality, but I know at nationals you played so many rogue. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, and then like what about dice roll wise? How did you fare dice roll wise on the day?
In the 9 rounds of Swiss, I went to 7, and I lost the dial in top 16, so not great.
Oh really? So you
That's why
actually uphill
yeah,
battle?
yeah, it's 2-8, but branded is a deck that can break through boards. Like you can afford to play more than 40, so you do have you can main board breakers, so you can actually fight through stuff.
Yeah, I find it interesting as well because you can. There's a lot of stuff like setting albars and then like contact fusing off with stuff as well. It's just so funny. That was one of the experiences. I remember when I played Tenpai, curse me, but I remember playing against a couple of branded players, and there's nothing worse than you've got seals on the field and someone just sets albars and then contact fuses into Albalenitus. It's just a wee bit painful sometimes.
Yeah, Albalenitus is the only contact fusion. Like you get contact fusion into anything else, but like if I said that I would be feeling bad about Tenpai players getting contact fusion, I would definitely be lying, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I respect your opinion on that. Tenpai was the worst, and I acknowledge that.
Yeah. It's not your fault. It's the card design fault. Don't get me wrong, but like, come on.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. It was like I miss it at times because we were talking about it, that you can just literally switch your brain off during their turn, and then when it comes to you, it's just right. Which sequence do I order my Lightning Storm, Dark Holes, and then finally throw my Chandra? It's just so funny.
Yeah, the skill expression of Tenpai is not very high. I will say that.
No comment. And then kind of just looking through, yeah, that was another one I was going to ask you about, was your bestial lineup. Because I know a lot of people did play 3 Saronir, 1 Lubellion, just because you'd send the Saronir, which would then send the Lubellion, which will allow you to get into it. And I think that's a smart idea, especially at the moment, seeing how high Droll is about. I mean, you don't really add too much in this deck anyway, I don't think.
Yeah, the thing with Saronir is that it usually like gets the brand spell traps. I don't think I ever pitched the Lubellion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It usually the Saronir with high spirits is basically a 1-card setup for the fusion from the graveyard. So even if you don't have SP or you don't have fusion or you don't have opening, you can actually like I can use high spirits, pitch the Saronir to pitch like the retribution. Throw a Titanic Ladder in the graveyard for the end phase as well.
Yeah.
And then I will be running the Shrouded. Shrouded pitches fusion, Retribution gets the fusion. And if you're in no danger with against the Droll, because Open and High Spirits can both be played in the draw phase.
Yeah.
So Droll is almost like non-impactful in this deck.
Yeah.
I never got impactfully drolled. I got drolled I think 3 times and I missed a single Albion draw. I just had to pitch it to the graveyard in order for it to not draw and use the effect.
Yeah.
So it's if Mitsurugi is good and we actually main draw, that's actually a good thing for Branded.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, we always talked about how Brad and High Spirits was just... It's such a cool card. Like, nobody really played it too much, if I remember right, when it first came out. But now, like, looking back at it, the card is actually genuinely nuts. You get so much access. How would you get access to Lubellion then? Would you normally send it off, like, Brand of Fusion or like, something like that?
Yeah, it is, the standard line is basically using Fusion, Albion with Albaz and Lubellion. Then you fuse into Lubellion with usually like the Albert, the Saronir that you have sent to the graveyard. You banish them to summon Lubellion and then discard the card. The discard effects in this deck are almost free.
Yeah.
So you would make a Mirror Jade, then use the Lubellion to get lost. Then Titanic Lad, for instance, if I have used the High Spirits, gets a Quem, which pitches a card, which is usually an extra Albaz for you to be able to set up Rimbron. And in the end phase, you do set banishment to go into Lad. Also, I don't know if you or your friend have noticed, Lad, the negation effect, the mandatory negation effect is not for spell effects, so you can still Lad off of Lost or shuffle off of Regained, the cards that are already face up. So you maximize your value, basically.
Yes, that's a very valid point. I didn't actually notice that until you've pointed that out. That's kind of cool. Yeah. And then, was there any? Oh, my DB is just timed out. 1 second. Was there any other like kind of cool lines that you would have done? Like anything? Say, obviously, a lot of people know the standard lines back in the day. Is there anything new and improved? Like, how has the deck kind of like updated itself? Is there any new lines or anything like that?
I don't know if I would call it a new line, but there are some stuff like you can use duplication to bounce the deployment to get like the Albas on demand. There are no exactly new lines. There are new ways that you have to get your play started, get your plays protected from cantrips. That is where the skill in Branded comes from, how you interact and how you set up your plays. Obviously, setting up your endboard through no interruption is whatever. Like anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is where I think the deck needs actually a good pilot. Also, I would like to mention that Fugalus can interact with High Spirits, that's synergize, because Ringbram is a win-based as well, so that also gives you a line if you're going first and Fugalus is useless.
That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, High Spirits is a crazy good card.
So mental. Yeah, and then I haven't really got any other points, to be honest. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other things? If not, do your plugs.
Before I do my plugs, I would like to talk about one more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
The one thing that I would change on my list was not run the Mischief of the Gnomes. It was very it underperformed greatly.
Oh, really?
The thing that I would do, I kind of overestimated, as I said, with the Bistles as well, how much Rise of Mitsurugi we're seeing instead of pure Mitsurugi. So yeah, Mischief is not very good against pure Mitsurugi. It's very mid.
Yeah.
So I would probably play a Tickable. Like there can be only one is actually very okay with Grounded. So that's what I would go for, I think.
I guess the only problem you got to think about there is if someone drops an X, then hits you with a aggregator on it, I suppose. But with X being at 2, I guess you just got to kind of hope and pray.
Yeah. Also, like if I have set up Blood, I can like
Oh yes.
Actually,
yeah. The most cracked card.
They have to basically waste their X negate in order for the aggregator to negate Tickable. And after that, they still have to go through 2 negates of Light and Darkness Dragon, which is not very easy, honestly.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Even if they chain block I guess they could kind of chain block and do shenanigans, but yeah, they're going to waste so much onto stuff. But yeah, sorry, anything else?
No, I would like to do a couple of shoutouts if you would allow me.
Go ahead, you do all your plugs that you would like.
Okay, so the first shout out is to Vas Gaming. It's a Greek Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube channel that of a great friend of mine that has helped me throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! Journey. I would also like to shout out Ignite YGO, who had recorded the profiles of the Greek nationals. It's a new YouTube channel. And lastly, I would like to shout out the Fusionist, who is Manos Aris's channel, who is trying to help the Greek scene be a little bit more known, since we do have very good players here.
Yeah.
And anyone who disagrees is welcome to try and top our next event, by the way.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, so these are my 3 shoutouts. And to you for having me, of course.
Of course, I'm just delighted that you've been on. It's nice to explore profiles and stuff like that. And it's you see a lot of people do deck profiles, but I really want to try and like get in deep dives and figure out why people play and stuff. It's interesting. I think you can learn a lot from it, and it's more importantly, it's fun to be invited on channels and to like do deck profiles and stuff like that. Like if you top, it's nice to get recognition. And I think a lot of people have definitely noticed, like the pair of you that are both topped. I think a lot of people are talking about it, so it's really nice that it's seeing old deck current again. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. Congratulations with your top, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.